Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something we all use every single day, our sense of direction. But what if I told you that the whole idea of being good or bad with directions is basically a myth? We're about to dive into this incredible, invisible diversity in how our brains actually map the world. And trust me, it might just completely change the way you think about your own mind.
All right, so let's just jump right in with a huge question. We all have that one friend, right? The one who gets lost going to the grocery store. Or hey, maybe that's you. But is being directionally challenged actually a real measurable thing? Or, and this is the really cool part, is there something way more fascinating going on just beneath the surface?
Okay, so to really unpack that, we've got to get back to basics. First things first, what is spatial awareness anyway? At its heart, it's this super fundamental brain skill. It's what lets you weave through a crowded sidewalk without bumping into everyone. It's how you know where your keys are in a messy room. And yep, it's the superpower you use to mentally twist and turn that weirdly shaped piece of IKEA furniture until you figure out how it fits. I mean, it's something we use constantly, and it is absolutely crucial. And here is where it gets really, really interesting. This is the big aha moment. The research is pretty clear. The difference between people who seem to get lost and people who don't, it's not about being good or bad at it. Nope. It all comes down to the fact that we use totally different mental strategies to make sense of the world around us.
Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. It's not some kind of skill ladder where some people are just naturally at the top and others are stuck at the bottom. It's way more like a mental toolbox. We're all trying to solve the same navigation puzzle, but we're reaching for completely different tools to do it.
Now, check this out. This really breaks down the two main tools in that toolbox. On one side, you've got the relative system. This is all about your own point of view. You say things like, turn left at the coffee shop, or the remote is in front of you. On the other side, you've got the absolute system. This is based on fixed directions, like a compass. People using this system would say, head south at the coffee shop, or the remote is to the east. So just looking at this, which one immediately clicks for you? Which one sounds more like, well, you?
And no matter which one you lean towards, it's super important to realize this isn't just about the words we choose. It's not just a language habit. This difference goes way, way deeper. It's literally a reflection of how your brain is wired to see the world. And get this, we can actually see it. Neuroscientists have put people in fMRI scanners and watched their brains while they do navigation tasks. And what they found is amazing. People from different backgrounds who use different strategies literally have different parts of their brain light up. Areas like the hippocampus and frontal lobe, they fire in completely unique patterns. It's proof that our environment and our culture physically shape our brains.
So, okay, if our brains are being shaped by where we live and how we live, that naturally leads to the next big question. Why? Well, it turns out this isn't just random chance. These different ways of thinking are actually powerful evidence of how we as humans adapt.
The whole idea is actually pretty simple, but so profound. Just think about it. Different environments create different minds. Depending on the challenges our ancestors faced, were they trying to navigate a huge open savanna, or a twisting, dense jungle, or a sprawling city, our brains evolved different kinds of spatial skills to survive. It's all about adaptation.
And this is a perfect illustration of that. For, say, a hunter-gatherer society, being able to navigate long distances using fixed points, like the sun, was absolutely critical. But for someone in a modern, dense city, it's probably way more useful to be amazing at remembering a complex sequence of lefts and rights. See? Each environment optimizes for a different cognitive strength. There's no one-size-fits-all, no single best way to do it. Okay, so this is where things get serious. What happens when we completely ignore this incredible diversity? What happens when our schools, our tests, our whole system is built around just one of these ways of thinking? Well, the result is we end up punishing people just for thinking differently. And here's the core of the problem. A lot of the standardized tests we use to measure things like spatial intelligence, they were created by and for a very specific cultural group. And that means they have a built-in bias. They're just not designed to accurately measure the skills of people who use a different mental toolbox. They completely miss the mark. And this is not just some abstract academic debate. This has massive real-world consequences. It's like a chain reaction, a domino effect. It starts with a bias test. That test gives an inaccurate measurement of someone's true ability.
That inaccurate score then leads to real educational inequality, blocking opportunities. And ultimately, we end up pushing incredibly talented people away from vital fields like science, technology, and engineering, all because we used the wrong ruler to measure their intelligence. Okay, so that's the problem. But the good news is, once you see the problem, you can start building a solution. So how do we move forward? How do we create a future that actually celebrates and uses this cognitive diversity instead of trying to stamp it out? The first step is a massive shift in mindset. We've got to ditch this one-size-fits-all approach. It just doesn't work. Instead of forcing everyone down a single, narrow hallway, we need to build a system with multiple doors. A system that recognizes that there are many, many valid ways of thinking. And here's what that could actually look like. In our schools, it means teaching in ways that connect with both relative and absolute thinkers. When it comes to testing, we need to design smarter, fairer assessments that can see different kinds of strengths. And with tech, imagine tools like VR or brain-computer interfaces that don't force you to adapt to them, but actually adapt to you. When we start valuing all these different kinds of intelligence, we unlock a staggering amount of human potential. So I want to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. That way you instinctually see the world, the way you find your way from A to B, your normal, is just one of many ways of being. It's not the only way. And once we really get that, we can start to see that when someone else gets lost, it's not because they're bad at directions. It's because their brain is just speaking a different spatial language. And that's not a flaw. That's an incredible, extraordinary piece of what makes us human.